Music.
It's time to start the meeting.
All right, good evening, everyone. It is the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It's July 31st, 2024, 7:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John,
Here.
Mr. Capel,
Here.
Ms. Bear, here, Mr. Neff,
Here.
Mr. Grumney,
Here.
Mrs. Cooper, here, Mr. Martin is absent, 6 present.
Thank you. We did have a meeting on July 17th, 2 weeks ago. It was a regular meeting. Can I receive a motion for approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve?
You got a motion by Mr. Grumney,
Second.
second by Mr. Neff. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Grumney,
Excuse me, yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Ms. Bear, yes, Mr. Capel,
Yes.
yes,
For the record, that was a flawless minutes that were put together. Thank you very much. We're on to the visitor section. Are there any visitors that would like to speak to City Council? All right, thank you very much. We're on to committee reports. Mr. Neff.
Nothing to report.
All right. Scooper.
Yes, we had an events meeting on July 18th and we got the application for the Sunbury Sizzles and Sounds. So that is on August 17th. They are looking for volunteers. So if anybody would like to help out with that, please let me or Cindy Ernst know. They're going to have a Fishing for the Cure. Sunbury Christian is putting this on at the reservoirs in September. And it's actually the family that you had presented that childhood cancer proclamation. That family is going to be a part of that. So that's exciting. There's going to be a ribbon cutting at our reservoir on August 10th for all the hard work that's gone in up there. That's about it.
Thank you very much.
Are dogs welcome to the ribbon cutting?
On a leash.
Do we
On
have
leash.
on leash? Yeah.
No updates here. All right, no updates?
I have one committee report from the Delaware County Regional Planning Commission. Just as an update, the North Star Residential Development in Kingston Township. The applicants, North Star Residential Development LLC and North Star Golf LLC, are requesting a 480.775 acre major development plan amendment. The location is the north side of Wilson Road, east of North Galena. It's presently zoned as planned residential. Its present use is golf course. Proposed use, single family residential, clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts. Number of units requested, 592. Total units for all sections unchanged from the original zoning approval of 651. There are some variances in there. And it is the Big Walnut School District. Del Webb at North Star is a proposed single family residential development with 592 lots on 480 approximately gross acres located on the north side of Wilson Road. Comprehensive plan, Kingston Township's 2023 comprehensive plan includes the site in sub-area 3, estate transition, and acknowledges that this site is approved for the North Star development with up to 651 homes at a density of 1.25 dwellings per acre. The plan recommends the extension of the system of multi-use paths, particularly along Wilson Road and throughout adjacent development, and to generally protect the rural character and natural resources within the township. And lot owners and the township hall will be responsible for maintaining sidewalks and street trees in sub-area A. The North Star New Community Authority shall be responsible for maintaining bike walking paths in sub-area A. The Homeowners Association for sub-area B shall be responsible for maintaining sidewalks, street trees, and bike walking paths. in sub-area B, excluding the 8-foot wide asphalt pedestrian trail that leads to the township park and farmland preservation. Just an update.
All right, thank you very much. All right, the Planning and Zoning Commission met last Monday. There were 2 items on the agenda. One was Kintner Crossing, which is a residential development south of Kintner on Kintner Parkway, excuse me, and north of Cheshire Road. It will eventually connect into the Sunbury Parkway. This is being developed by D.R. Horton, but master developed by Romanelli. And the things that were issues for the Planning and Zoning Commission back in March were addressed to our satisfaction, and the issue passed. So things like overall site aesthetics, the building elevations and materials, CBU, aka mailbox locations, increased parking, increased multi-use trails. They added a multi-use trail pedestrian bridge that will connect onto Cheshire Road. Emergency access was improved, and the covenants, restrictions, and conditions were satisfactory to our legal counsel. So that will be coming forward for approval to this body in September. I believe the first reading will be in September with a public hearing. The other item that passed was the Sunbury Parkway District Plan, and that will be coming forward as well on September 7th, correct? 4th, sorry. Thank you. All right, that's all I had. We are on to the police report. Chief Howard.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple corrections I need to make here on the completed work at the new building. I have on here that the HVAC is now operational. That's not the case, and the new generator is not the case, and that's due to too small a gas line that's servicing the building. So they're working on a new regulator for that, and I think sometime probably next week, they're looking at a additional service line for the generator on that. I'm gonna put out a reminder, the areas around us have been getting hit with some of the car break-ins again. So just want to encourage everyone to lock their cars, hide valuables if you have to leave something in there. We've been really fortunate, and I don't want to say something that's I'm gonna regret saying and we'll get hit, but we've been fortunate. We'll just leave it at that. I did attach in a separate handout some stats those are from Delaware County for the past 6 months compared to the stats from last year, so you can look at those. And at the next council meeting, I'll have all of our mayor's court stats for the last 3 months as well.
Very much. Well, we meet next week. We'll have a new SRO in schools beginning with this school year, correct?
Yes, we will. We've selected Maya Belcher for that. She's coming in, I want to say this Friday. I think there's a 3-hour training that the school's having. She's going to participate in that. And I'm not sure what her return date is from her maternity, but I think it's mid-August.
Thank you. All right, the other thing I wanted to commend the police department on is working to foster good relationships with our construction development partners. So think of new neighborhoods that are being built. There have been some break-ins in some of the new builds. The police and the construction leadership in the region for Pulte in particular have been working towards scheduling in-person meetings so we can from the city perspective, talk about best practices and, how to make it more difficult for theft to occur. And also talking about technology options that developers can deploy to assist with deterring crime, but also help with investigations if crime does occur. And just opening up lines of communication. So this is, I think, a great thing for your department. Putting a face with a company and having a single point of contact that you can address issues as they occur.
We've had a couple conversations with some of those folks, and we want to thank you for getting that ball rolling for us. So.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments for Chief Howard?
How long have you guys had the new Sunbury police sign out on your building?
That is a temporary sign.
Oh,
It was the old sign at that was at the municipal building that Jake was able to take down, and Mick and I believe it was Scott put that together.
Yeah.
I don't typically go that way, but I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks so nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for a temporary sign.
It really does.
And they're having that, if you notice, there's a street light right above that. They're having AP fix that light, so it will light that up for us. And then even when we get the new sign on the building, we can take that down and utilize the light.
Oh, it
So
looks good.
Would you do it all over again, the construction of a new building?
yes.
You can pause the recording if you'd like. Good deal. Think differently, but we would do it. We are on to the administrator report, Mr. Hennessy.
So just a couple of items. We've been talking about the new assistant city administrator and the new director of planning and engineering. They both arrived today, so they're on board and starting to get up to speed on the issues in the city. So we'll bring them to next week's council meeting and begin to introduce them then, if not before. So you'll start to meet both Caitlin, the assistant administrator, and Carla, the director of planning and engineering. She is the one who has the engineering degree, will eventually take over the role as the city engineer. So both of them will be at future council meetings and participating actively as a part of that. So that's issue one. On the community and economic development front, I did just want to note, we have issued the occupancy permit for one of the buildings over at the ravines at Meadow Ridge. So we now have residents that are west of 71 living in the city of Sunbury. So just first set of residents living west of the interchange. So I did include also the zoning report. You note that there is a little bit of a retrenchment, I guess, in terms of building permits for new construction issued in July. However, what it really does is it just equalizes where we were at this point last year. Staff is still very confident that the number is likely to be higher than last year's record number. On the street program, a lot going on. It's a rapid and shifting schedule. We're trying to do our best to keep people informed of what's happening. What's I think important to note is we do anticipate the milling work will begin next week on North Miller Drive and then to the other streets. Keep in mind, we're just 2 weeks away from, as most of you know, 2 weeks away from school starting. So we've got to have it milled and repaved within that time frame. So the other thing of some note is that we are doing a portion of the repair here on Cherry Street. So we'll be meeting with the contractor on Friday regarding maintenance of traffic issues, how to kind of manage that as they start to do the work on Cherry Street here at the corner of 37 and Cherry. Reservoir, as Ms. Cooper mentioned, we are working through the final phases of the punch list, so we will be ready when the ribbon cutting happens on the 10th. So that's it, unless anybody's got any questions for me.
Questions for Mr. Hennessy?
I just have one, and Daryl, this wasn't on your list, but I didn't know if you had a chance to find out anything more about the street cleaning process.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean, I did check on that,
Okay.
and we have confirmed that they were out in those streets in that neighborhood with the sweeper down.
okay,
We actually know that we had some glass in one of those streets and it's been removed. So
okay.
feeling pretty confident with that. And again, I don't have the numbers back in terms of how much debris they picked up. That's one of the other things we were going to ask them for.
Okay,
That I don't have yet.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Hennessy? All right, thank you. All right, the engineer's report.
Yeah, so we don't have an engineer's report in the packet. I will just say that Dan Whited is out this week, but the one item I would pull out of his report or an updated email that he sent to me, the Big Walnut Intermediate School Trail has been completed. So that connects Price Ponds to the backside of the intermediate school. There may be some additional restoration work that needs to be done on the sides, but that has been completed. So I know we've been talking a lot about that schedule. That's going to be some ARPA money that we're using to do that. So that's our first ARPA money project.
The trail is being used a lot,
Yeah, it's great.
a lot.
Yeah.
Especially as football practices kicked off and cheerleader practice
Mhm.
and school's gonna kick off, but I'm I'm thinking there's probably 100 people a day at this point, and most people don't even know it's open. So pretty significant. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we're on to resolutions. No third readings. We do have a second reading, resolution number 2024.12. A resolution approving the expansion of the Sunbury New Community Authority District to include the Eagle Creek development. We are on the no first readings. We are on to ordinances. Third reading, ordinance number 2024.16. An ordinance declaring the improvement to certain parcels real property to be a public purpose and exempt from taxation, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund, providing for the collection and deposit of service payments into that fund, specifying the public infrastructure improvements directly benefiting the parcels, and declaring an emergency. I believe we're looking for action on this and looking for a motion on the emergency.
Motion on the emergency.
We got a motion on the emergency by Mr. Grumney,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
6 yeas.
I'll make a motion on the ordinance 2024.16.
I'll second.
We got a second by Mrs. Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, we are on to third reading ordinance number 2024.17. An ordinance approving the execution of an annexation agreement with the Northport Place LLC and declaring an emergency. Looking for the motion on the emergency.
Motion on the emergency.
Got a motion on the emergency, Mr. Grumney. Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on the ordinance.
We have a motion on the ordinance, Mr. Grumney, 2024.17. Second. Mr. Neff on second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, great. Thank you. We're on to third reading ordinance number 2024.18. An ordinance approving easement vacation as part of the replat, part of lot 948 of Sunbury Commerce Park Phase 2 and declaring an emergency. I'll make a motion on the emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, I'll make a motion on the ordinance 2024.18.
Second.
Second by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, we're on second readings. Ordinance number 2024.19, an ordinance providing for the employment of a director of law. Are there no words missing there after that?
No.
You got the shortest ordinance. You're earning this. Thank you very much. All right, we're on to ordinance number 2024.12, second reading. An ordinance authorizing the expansion of the city's community reinvestment area number 041-76502-01 and amending city resolution number 2006-04, declaring an emergency. There's not big urgency on this. We can do another reading, correct? Thank you. Appreciate that. First reading ordinance number 2024.01.02, second amended, an ordinance amending the 2024 annual appropriations. That is a first reading. We covered those items in finance in our last meeting. All right, with that said, we're on great pace. New and unfinished business, Ms. Drake,
Do not have any.
Mr. Grumman.
Just one thing real quick. So, and we've talked about this before, and I know our hands are a bit tied, but as a resident and sitting on council, something I'm very concerned about is the Carter's Corner, 36-37 intersection. There's another big accident there last night, semi truck and 3 cars. No, thankfully nobody was killed. But we've recently had a death at that intersection. I mean, in the last 6 months, we've had probably 4 accidents at that intersection. And I know our hands are a bit tied with ODOT, but I'm just curious as a city because, and just as a real quick example, I know our hands are tied, but I live in Sunbury Meadows, and for the longest time, they thought we need a traffic light because no one could ever turn left onto Route 3 going into town. And it took Mitchell Young dying at that intersection before we got a traffic light. And I don't want that to happen again when school starts or when they're letting out church or whatever it is, and that's a busy intersection and somebody's gonna get creamed. And I don't know what ODOT needs as far as stat wise to say this is a dangerous intersection. There's no other intersection in our city that is that dangerous. The last one I remember being that dangerous was not besides Sunbury Meadows was down by the hub. That people always got creamed there, and we got a light. Does it take another high schooler's death or, you know, to say, well, I guess we need to do something. So I don't know if as a city, if we have an opportunity to influence ODOT and say, look, the police have been called, fire's been called so many times. What else do you need to know?
Well, if I could, I would say, I think the city already has started to have an influence. I mean, you may recall the mayor and the president of the Berkshire Board of Trustees and the fire chief sent a letter
Yeah.
to ODOT regarding this intersection. ODOT convened a meeting. They actually went back and looked at the data again. They checked to see if it quote warranted a stoplight or
Yeah.
a stoplight. And then convened a meeting with staff that I attended
Okay.
and others from Berkshire and actually from the church as well. So we attended it. I know the leadership at ODOT is very interested in what's happening at this intersection. They've indicated to us that it still doesn't quite warrant a traffic signal, although it's almost there. I think it's 75 vehicles moving through the intersection over a 6-hour span. Each of those hours, it needs to be 75 over an 8-hour span in order to meet the warrant. But having said that, they've committed to doing another traffic impact study there, and with the church, we're doing that. They have agreed that as the additional developments happen south on Domigan, basically Carter's or basically Price Ponds, that they'll continue to monitor that as well. Although we're not quite there yet, I know that they're ready to assist as soon as I think the data will support it. Not that the data doesn't indicate that it should be done there. The other thing I will add is they are looking at an option though, aside from just a traffic light. Traffic lights don't always necessarily improve safety at an intersection. There can be rear end accidents happening as a result. They have at least opened up the conversation about whether or not a roundabout might be an option as well. So they've not given up on it. They are paying very close attention to it.
And I appreciate the mayor and the city's effort in doing that. It's just, and I believe there's a place for data and a place for going, okay, it has to meet this threshold, but I also believe in common sense. And even sometimes when you don't have necessarily the data support, you can look at something and go, that's not safe. And if we lose one more life, I think that's criminal. Or I won't say criminal, sorry. But I think on ODOT, they have to look and say, look, we may be a little away from the number, but it just makes sense to put something in there to protect people because clearly it's a dangerous intersection. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents. And
I'll check in to see where they are with the traffic impact study, and I'll definitely check in. I know we've got some upcoming meetings with ODOT where we may have an opportunity to raise this issue again with them in person, see where they are in terms of the roundabout discussion.
You know, they are aware of the wreck that happened yesterday. And when I say they, the deputy director of ODOT District 6 is aware of the wreck that happened yesterday. I'm meeting with him in person on Wednesday next week. This will be a topic of discussion. Aside from the letter and like the political push, you're right. Sunbury can't go out and install a traffic light in Berkshire Township on a state and US highway. We cannot do that. But I have talked to the director. I do trust that he is moving faster than the speed of government in terms of trying to get, they can't just put up traffic lights at wherever they want and whenever they want. There are thresholds for that. But what I can tell you, and to the director's credit, this is Tony Tarowski. He lives generally in this area within 5 minutes. He does not want to do this again. And I think what he's saying is my interpretation. He's questioning the work that they did, like adding the turn lanes. And it's a non-90-degree intersection, which is kind of like a big no-no when it comes to traffic engineering. We try to avoid that at all costs. And he's looking for ways to improve safety purely and do it like once and for all.
Yeah.
So I do know that he personally is spearheading this, and I guarantee he wants it to go faster than it is right now.
Okay.
And he's running into some bureaucracy on his end.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
On that note, not to jump in here, but is there anything, because the detour, isn't the detour forcing more traffic? Yes, down that direction, is that causing anything that could?
Yeah, and they've been watching those numbers as well. I mean, yeah, it's definitely brought some more traffic in the area, but not substantially more in their minds. Although we've now changed the Galena Road that's closed, and that may change it. So again, they're monitoring that for sure.
Yeah, you've got the Interstate 71 sign on Cheshire Road, and that's never been there before. So it's directing traffic coming from the south to take Donegan Road north. So yeah, it's about as perfect of a storm as you could have right now. It's a great point. Thank you for bringing it up. Mr. Capel.
Nothing for me.
Mr. Cooper.
Nothing.
Mr. Neff.
Nothing.
Right. I don't have anything either. So we're gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
6 yeas, we are adjourned.
I'm sorry, working.